they're
15 to
tweaking it
start?
this year.
No, I
And
haven't
10,000 a
paid
year
on it.
after that?
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They already have a service online that does that, don't
Yeah.
they? I mean, I thought there was an app that you could sign up for.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like the sheriff had
It went up a
something and
little bit, but-
there was some other app that we could already sign
I know
up.
if there's a tornado or an Amber Alert, there's a damn alarm that will make
Oh,
you
yeah.
stick to your ceiling at night.
Mhm.
Those Amber
Okay.
Alerts are.
Couple of things real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
I turned mine off.
Larry has a small change to his budget
No. Wait, let me have these candy mix.
for next year.
Where's the healthy
We brought
snacks?
Cleaning out my
Did they
feet.
bring us more bananas, or did we get some new bananas?
There's pretzels in these.
There's pretzels in there.
There's pretzels
That's
in
good for you.
these. What's in
Marshmallows.
that cup?
Okay.
So, small change to Larry's budget, he needs to add $1,000.
I
There's
would say, yeah.
$1,000 to equipment service contracts because of a new copier.
Okay.
Or we can just not give them a new copy, I don't think we're
He
about
already
service
has
contract.
the copier.
Oh, what?
You had 500 in there, going up to 1,500.
Well, it's on a per copy basis.
You need to make sure yours isn't that big.
It is.
It is per copy basis.
That's what we gave Debbie for Christmas. That was an early Christmas present.
I'm gonna give her a cup of
I
coffee,
did
'cause
pay
it
for
looks
the
like we're on
copy.
beer wall, so.
Okay, so we're good. We have it written down.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
And
Larry.
then, Michael wondered if we could skip to his and do his first, because we didn't talk about, a change in his salary the other day when he was up here.
Okay. Talk about,
So, in the budget, I approached Michael at the beginning and was kind of talking about his part-time line and how much part-time we were using, and asked him if it would be helpful to take a couple of those part-time people.
What page we on?
72.
should we wait till Jeff gets back in here? So we don't have to do this twice.
All right, I'm back, quit talking about it.
We skipped ahead to juvenile and do Michael's real fast.
Oh my God, what happened with all these
Page
papers for?
72.
I don't have that page. We zeroed his, right? 72.
Yep. So I approached Michael at the beginning of the budget stuff and asked him if maybe it would be beneficial to take a couple of part-time people and make a full-time position so that he had coverage, and wasn't using as much part-time. So we, in the budget, did that. We took those part-time, reduced his part-time down, added one full-time position with benefits, and fixed it. He didn't talk about it the other day because he's in agreement with me of the way we did it, but we didn't point it out and we wanted to make sure you guys knew that it was in there. So, in all reality, there is an additional full-time person in his budget, but it did not cost us anymore because we reallocated from
Part-time.
part-time.
So it's cost neutral?
But how do you make up the extra cost then?
No, because I reduced the number of part-time staff to pick up the benefit package.
You're gonna have one full-time person at 40 hours, but you're gonna take out more than 40 hours of part-time.
That's right, because I have a hard time just even filling part-time staff. So, because with the full-time person, I benefit more from that than part-time people because it's very difficult getting part-time people to come with no benefits and all, and things of that nature. So, with the full-time, I benefit more, even though I may have less folks there, I'm still trying to get part-time people in.
Okay, well, it wasn't really explained that way, so that's what I was trying to figure out.
Right, yes, it's, I have,
The benefits that we're paying will be benefited to the county.
yes.
Because you have a full-timer, you're able to keep that position filled, you're not having turnover, having to train somebody every time the part-timer
That
quits
is
or
correct,
finds
yeah.
a full-time job, so.
Right, and I made sure that in that part-time line, I brought over what those benefits would be to cover it, so I'm not asking you to cover the benefit line also.
If that works for you, I'm okay with
Yeah.
it. It's
Yes.
neutral anyway,
Yes.
but I just wanted to make sure because it didn't.
Right, I'm going from 9 part-time staff down to 5 part-time staff. And then going from 8 full-time youth specialists to 9 full-time youth specialists. So that benefits me more in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many kids do we have over there? And I haven't been to one of your meetings in a while. How many have we been averaging?
Today I've got 1 in detention, been there for a while, he'll be there for a while until we go to court. And I have
I thought it was 6.
7, I picked up another one last night. I have 7 in residential right now.
Okay. That's why I was just curious. How
Yeah, to keep, it'll probably pick up even more within another week or 2. Things
Around the
kind
holidays.
of, things kind of fluctuate. A lot of disruptions, things of that nature, so.
So we just wanted to see if you had questions, because he didn't mention it,
Right.
and I didn't either.
And also, I just wanted to make sure that, and I really didn't mention about the proposed salary line, also that
The adjustments.
The adjustments, when you guys take a look at that, I met with with our auditor, and I was in an agreement with that. I had no issues with that. I think it would, as for our department, it would be a benefit having it established in the manner that she presented to me and will be presenting to you.
So Michael, it looks like there's a couple of grants that maybe are going away.
Yeah, there were small grants. There was one with the Department of Public Safety. It was more of a hassle than anything else. We have one for a diversity grant we're no longer doing, and that was with the Department of Public Safety. So it was small, it was real small grants. We still have our ongoing grants that we have with the Office of State Courts Administrator. That will always be there, and it's renewable on an annual basis. We still have our Division of Youth Services grant, which has been with us for a number of years, so that is still there. So, but I think overall, we're doing okay within that arena. Especially when you were talking about, you know, the Christmas for Christmas Eve for holiday time. I will probably more than likely put more part-time staff in that slot and let my full-time go. That way I don't have to worry about having to pay our using holiday time. So that gives me an option within that area for this year, at least.
So is there any opportunities to increase some of that revenue?
That's what I'm working on, and so and that's a goal of mine for this coming year.
Down about 60,000,
Yes.
looks like from
Yes.
next year will be
Right.
from this year, so.
If, I'm not, Chris, I don't know if you were here in 2000, were you here in 2008?
No.
Okay. I don't think, Jeff, were you here in 2008?
9.
2009? Okay, it was 2008 is when we actually increased our budget by 3 staff to bring up the residential program, and that cost the county $150,000 with benefits and all. And I was talking with Christian. If I cannot meet that 150 and above, then I think we have to come back and look at the cost benefit for that particular program. So I agree with her, and I want to just go on record saying if I can't meet that, then we need to come back and take a look at where we're at the residential services up there. Of that 150, we will always have the emergency care because it was always there.
Right.
But you look at that 150 in there, if I cannot meet that particular area, I think that you hold me accountable for that, and I've got to justify why we stay where we're at.
Okay.
But I think this year we're okay. We're going to exceed that this year. But I want to at least hit that 220 if possible.
Okay. The only other thing you had was on the attorney's fees and,
Yes, and that was, you know, and I gave you that, I put it in the, for the 10, 15, and 20%.
right?
Area. And that is an area that I really was not in our budget. And I really advocate within that area. And so I gave you the 3 areas. I'm asking you to look at it in one of those 3 areas. I'm not going to advocate for the 10, 15, or 20. I'm just saying I need an increase.
Okay.
And that's why I gave you those numbers.
That's what they get, the attorneys get paid per hour.
Per hour, yeah, and it's face to face.
Right.
I do not do phone calls, I do not pay for administrative costs or anything of that nature. So, and we actually go through and we line them out. They will submit it because they need to do it for their billing for the clients, due diligence.
Right.
But when we get it, we say we don't pay for that. We don't see them face to face.
Sure.
I'm sorry, but we don't pay for it.
Right.
How much an hour is it?
$40 an hour. But if you look at an ongoing, the minimum rate for an attorney here in Jeff City starts at about $150 an hour.
Okay.
And that's the attorneys for the families, not, this isn't for the kids that are
It's
going to court.
family and kids. We have to cover both. Put it this
But not
way.
a kid that's going in there because he's in trouble for stealing.
No, that
It's
kid-
just for the parents that have some kind
no,
of issues.
It's 2 areas, yeah. We cover for, on the neglect and abuse side, we've got to provide the
Right.
coverage for the parent and the guardian item for the child. But when it comes on the delinquency side, if you recall, 3 years ago, St. Louis County, the Department of Justice went into St. Louis County and they got dinged big time because they didn't have representation for kids coming into the court system. And we
So-
did not have that issue because we had representation for kids when they went to court. We don't pay for the families of those kids on the delinquency side, and we actually go through and look at.
So
do
the
they have
kid
the
gets in
ability to
trouble
pay?
for stealing, he's in the center,
Right.
then he comes to court. We
Maybe
have to
in the center
provide
not, But if he goes to court,
we have to have an attorney.
we have to have an attorney, but we will do a sliding scale to determine if the parent has their ability to pay. And then they get their own attorney. We won't pay for that.
So then why didn't the public defender help handle that? Why are we eating that cost?
Okay, here's the issue. The public defender at this point, they don't have enough people to even represent the
I
adult
don't disagree
system.
with that either. I mean,
Right,
that's not a secret, but
I understand, but.
why are we paying for it?
Because they don't have the expertise when it comes to dealing with juvenile law. That's another issue that you have, and that's why you have a lot
The
of
state should be
issues.
covering it then.
Pardon me?
The state should be covering it then.
You have a number of, most counties either will contract out for their attorneys, and a lot of.
I don't care if we
counties that-
contract or hire our own, why do we gotta pay for it? The state is mandating that they have an attorney, correct? So-
Not only the state though, but also the feds, through legislation, that they must be represented. So, put it this way, I would say an unfunded mandate, okay? It really is an unfunded mandate, but at the same time.
In a roundabout way, I'm saying that's what we need to have.
Right, but I'm just
Victory
saying,
group take a look at too, and maybe
Mhm.
right, but at the
see if
same
we can
time,
try to figure something out.
at the same time, they need to have representation when they do go to court. And we have been very fortunate where we've not had that issue, and I think we've gotten, with the amount of dollars that we have and the number of folks coming to the system, this county's done very well in representing its citizens and the kids, where we've not had any adverse effects coming back on us.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that either. I'm saying we're doing public defender work for the youth. When they can't afford it, it might be just a minor part of that, so let's move on. I don't know what we wanna figure out, if we're gonna talk about what amount we wanna put in there.
We don't have to do that right now. I mean,
Well,
if you wanna get through all of them and look at general fund and where we're at, and then decide if we have additional funds we wanna put in there, or
So are we kind of keeping a tally of
I'm
different,
making notes as we
different items
go
that,
through, yeah,
okay.
that we wanna go back and look at.
So if we
Yeah.
leave it at 121, then what's gonna happen, Michael?
It's
We're not
just-
gonna be able to pay them, or?
You're
No,
still
no,
gonna
no,
pay
we're still
$40
paying
an
them.
hour.
I'm just paying, I'm just saying, I need to, looking at it, the last time we did this was 8 years ago. We went from 30 to 40, and there's been no increase whatsoever in that particular account. I know when I first got here, that account was 150, and because I can't speak to the previous administration, but there were some glitches in the system that things were not happening. And so they reduced that funding amount back then. So,
So really, he's asking you to increase the rate per hour that you're paying attorneys at the
Right.
moment. We're paying them $40 an hour.
right.
He's asking, 10%
Okay, so
would
the
be
121 is gonna
44.
be at 40.
Uh-huh.
Right. Right.
Yeah, 10% is $4, 15% is
6,
$6.50, and then
Yeah.
20% is at $8
Yeah.
an
So-
hour.
So I think it would be better to get through all of general and make notes of all the things we wanna look at, and then see where we're at, and if we
Okay.
have additional funds, we'll go back and add it back in.
I agree.
The only reason I didn't say anything the other day, because I was in agreement, except for that one piece right there. But I'm in agreement with everything else that, even though I didn't get what I wanted, but I can live with it, what was in the book. That was the only area that I had a concern with.
Okay,
Okay?
thanks.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay, so we kinda skipped ahead, we need to flip back and get to page 57.
I'll go backwards.
Public administrator. Can I still- Is That's why I haven't looked at it again. Joe didn't really have a whole lot that he talked about. We did have a pay warrant up here that we had some conversations about. Did you send it back to him? He did bring up the pauper funeral. That's probably a discussion that
Have
we'll
later?
have.
Yep.
At the same time, we talk about the attorney fees.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't believe that they do it for $250.
Well, it hasn't changed.
I'll tell you, they're losing money.
I couldn't haul something across town for $250.
I think it definitely deserves an increase. I'm just not sure if we want to bite off. I mean, someone brought up $800. I think that's an awfully large amount to increase all at once. Maybe
Mhm.
it's a jump to 500 and then review it in a couple years and see if we jump.
We're just lucky that the two that are still doing it feel like it's part of their obligation
Right.
One of
for
the,
this community.
That's where I'm at with it. At some point, they're gonna say, look,
Yeah,
you
they're,
know, as much as I wanna help, I can't do this. I'm losing money every time we do this. We don't have that many. We had, what, 7 this year?
10.
one of the interesting things that we talked about at our safety meeting as we were looking at the morgue and stuff is that the hospitals only have like room for like 2 or 3 people that have passed each hospital. And I'm like, how can that be? I mean, you could have a car wreck and have more people die in one accident than the hospitals have room for, and I
But
guess.
in a circumstance like that, if you actually die like in the accident, do you still go to the hospital or do you go directly?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, so.
If you're DOR, but I mean, you know,
But sometimes family members.
the
don't know where they're
mortuaries,
going yet.
the
Right.
mortuaries don't, I mean, I don't know how they know where to take them, but I mean,
it,
mortuaries only have space for so many as well, so, I mean, you could fill up pretty fast
Right.
all the space that you got.
years ago, our nephew and 3 boys were in a car and they ran off the road into a creek and drowned. And they were over in the morgue at Capital Region. I had to go in and identify them. You don't ever want to do that again. It's
So one of the things that we could do too is whenever they do the cremation, that the families don't want to have anything to do with it until after the cremation is done, so they don't have to pay for it, but they still want to come pick up the cremains. So if they come pick up the cremains, they pay for the cremation. So there's ways to try to work the reimbursements on some of that. I think currently now, somebody can come pick up the cremains. So,
We pay to have cremated, but the family can still come pick them up. I don't think so.
By the time
I
they're
think-
declared,
I think that
they
they
don't
get,
have the rights to it.
yeah, once we say we're gonna pay for it, they get buried over in city cemetery.
I think if somebody comes back later and wants to, then they reimburse us, but
So in that
I don't think
situation,
that happens very much.
they're deemed a ward of the county.
Yeah, kind of.
And so all their assets become counties?
It depends if they were an estate of the public administrator before, or if they were just declared an
Well,
indigent and nobody, I don't know where the rest of their stuff goes.
So,
Would the
Yeah.
funeral home have a
they
claim?
had
They
the,
may.
they had the,
Have a claim?
but I mean, would we, I guess, and I'm asking is, would we have a claim? So like, there was an instance where a Montauk County person died here in Cole County and, you know, couldn't get a hold of anybody, so we take care of it. I mean, do we go see if they have assets and seize those assets?
That's a Joe question.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, I would bet
Our
that
judge
we're probably not even looking at that.
Or
Well,
no.
you know,
I mean, is there a means to collect for those services that were done?
I mean, I would guess that if they did have any property, it would have to go through probate or something. And at that time, we could make the claim against what we spent to do that. The funeral home could do the same thing, so if it takes them $1,000 to do it and we're only paying them $250, they have a claim for the other $750. But I don't know that we can just go seize their property.
But we
Yeah.
could put a lien on it for expenses occur or
I
whatever.
don't know. That would be a good question
Which
to
would-
ask. I don't
I
know.
think probably that would be the best.
Which would
way.
probably, then we'd
But
have
nobody's
to
following up on
put the
that.
costs of the lien, to file the lien and all that other stuff on there too.
I would think if there's any assets that would go to probate, then you could,
Yeah, but if
Take-
you're not
but-
filing the lien, you're not gonna get it.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
so somebody could be a millionaire that was a, you know, only child, nobody claims or nobody, you know,
Right.
and.
should I claim them?
Most-
Dad.
I mean, most times that ain't the
Maybe you ought to start
situation.
watching the paper.
Most of the
Okay.
times people know.
I don't
their
think those
hands
even
and
have
knuckles like
obituaries.
that.
Anything else in public administrator you want to talk about?
No.
So then health department. We were done with general. This is health and welfare. Nope. Good try though.
Yeah.
Good try. So Kirsty had a few, grants that needed to be updated. I think we have to do those, you know, we have to go along with the grant and what it says, so, I think we need to update those. We do need to double check the revenue on both of those and make sure that that's correct as well. But she also had the adding of the nurse practitioner or, physician's assistant we talked about.
So was there certain grants that, were the funds gonna go up, or were they going down, or?
So I know that she said in both the MCH and the child care consultation that the expense side that we included in the budget did not match the contract amount.
Okay,
But I need to double check the revenue side and make sure that the total we have in the revenue side is correct. Both of those grant paperworks just came through probably in the last week and a half. So,
okay,
we were using based on what we thought it was gonna be. Not exactly sure that we had the paperwork to know for sure that this is the correct amount, so we need to check both sides of it.
Plus there'll be other accounts like that carry forward. too.
Right, we will have some other carry forward accounts, like like if you look in her budget, the WIC Medicaid number on the expense side, they get to they have to set aside all of the WIC Medicaid money in a separate line and get to spend it only on WIC, and it gets carried forward from year to year.
Be one of those EMS vehicles or something.
So that amount could fluctuate depending on where they end up at the end of the year and what they're carrying forward.
Okay, so was a copier part of a capital request, or?
So it was not included in her original capital, but, she did bring it up the other day, so, I think part of the reason it wasn't included in her original budget is because they do have some funding left over this year that they could have spent. But I think as we talked about it, it was better to let our lease run out and give us the ability to move vendors, so that would not be till March.
Okay.
So, yes, I think we need to include the copier in her capital request, and that is something that could come out of sales tax instead of actual fund. Anything else? So,
Salary structures, I mean, I guess we'll get to that later.
so yes, she did have two, after we did the original one, that she thinks their title should change, so that would change her structure a little bit as well.
And
Question for you all. So if we would add a nurse practitioner, what revenue source do you see coming in from that to help offset the cost of that? Do you see a fee being charged or something that's going to offset the expense of that?
yes,
So it would add to the liability coverage.
Yeah, and insurance will be, I mean, it's,
Substantial.
insurance is gonna be high.
Yep.
So professional.
But, you know, the city has kind of, if you're partially self-insured, what are we have, what, $30 copay now?
No, I meant the.
Well, I'm just saying,
For
I'm-
her liability, or that person's liability.
the health insurance,
The health-
or
Not
healthcare
health.
liability.
Yes, for a liability for the county for having a nurse practitioner.
So that would affect what we talked about yesterday with Rick.
Yes.
And then, yeah, so I'm assuming we would carry that person's insurance.
You would have to a certain extent, yes.
And I think that
There
you
are
would
employees.
actually see the cost that we're paying our, medical director that oversees the health department. I think his fees would go up just because of the amount of work that he has to oversee with a nurse practitioner versus just regular nurses at the moment. I mean, right now, we're not prescribing any drugs or things like that. We're
Right.
only administering tests and sending things off to the lab. So, I think that that would be an additional cost that would go up as well. So I see a lot more costs associated with adding this position. I'm kind of looking for, how are we hoping to pay for that?
So, obviously, we need to have more discussions with Christie, on this, but I see it, several ways it could benefit. Obviously, a partnership with us, possibly the city and others, you know, whether that be a low fee cost or whatever that may be, but for county employees to be able to use that just like they would any other office for urgent care, different things. But anyway, so we wouldn't get those bills on the back end of that urgent care visit coming through our health insurance fund.
So you wouldn't turn that visit into insurance?
No. So
I think you
why
don't
would we pay for it twice? I mean, you know, obviously it would be a huge benefit, and it could almost be maybe even a free benefit to county employees, but we would save on the back end.
Yeah, but more than likely, they're paying their deductibles for a long time, so we miss out on that deductible payment by the employee, the copay. It's just to where you get to the end where they start paying, the coverage us, start paying the full cost. You know what I mean? Because the employee pays up to a certain time, and then our
Especially
insurance
those that
kicks
are on
in.
the HSA, I mean, they're
Yes.
paying the front end cost of that we're not,
Right.
And that won't
until they
count.
reach that deductible amount.
Yeah.
If you're not submitting those bills and they're not paying their portion, you're going to be ending up paying more of other things.
Right. Think we
In the
should
long
let
run.
it have.
I'll be devil's advocate on that. I am the HSA. So if I go to the health department and I don't know what to use as an example, but I get some kind of treatment for free, and maybe they write me a prescription for some kind of cold medicine. I didn't end up paying it, didn't go towards my deductible, but I didn't have to pay anything for that visit either, so I don't see how that would cost the county anything, because the next time I actually go to a doctor, then I would pay it.
It's not costing the county, other than having a nurse practitioner, that cost.
Right.
It's not costing your fund, the health insurance
Not-
fund, but it wouldn't have cost that fund anyway, because the employee would have been paying that first cost, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So you're not saving money in the health insurance fund, but you are also costing to have a nurse practitioner.
Damn it. You're right.
Well, yeah.
Well, so, yes,
Yes.
but so you're in an HSA and
So
you.
maybe
go-
I
you-
paid it too.
You go to urgent care and that cost is $150 or whatever that is, and I don't know what that is. I mean, but
Sure.
you
Just
pay the
say-
entire
Just-
cost.
Yeah, just use that number. I paid
So
$150.
$150, so that goes towards the deductible of your personal HSA. But,
Chances
So
are I'm not ever gonna get over it
you may
anyway.
never get to the deductible anyway,
That's right.
so you're out $150.
Right.
Well, the county's still paying insurance costs on you, and you may never get to the deductible, but for somebody that's not in the HSA, that's in the PPO, what do they go to urgent care and they pay $25 or whatever their
30.
copay is? And then what kind of bills are we getting on the back end that we're paying?
I mean,
We're getting, so say they pay the
Yeah.
25, so we're getting billed the other 125 that we're paying out of the health insurance fund.
only a percentage, because the employee still pays deductible. Maybe that'd be going towards their deductible too, even though they're paying a copay, still part of that goes towards their deductible. So
But it's $25 out of their pocket, right?
it depends what they have done there. It depends what
But
they.
they're still, I mean, whether they
So it could
pay,
be more out of their pocket if they
Later.
have
When they get
things
billed.
that-
but total dollars, so if I don't pay the $25 there today for the copay, I may have to pay the $25 sometime later, but I'm still only having to pay so much money out of my pocket to hit my deductible.
Well, I mean, so is the HSA.
Right.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you can do it, I mean, I'm not saying, but I
I'm-
don't think it's gonna save the health insurance fund that much. Because by the time the people get to that deductible, they have something going on, that they're not going to a nurse practitioner anymore. They're going to a different
Right.
doctor. So they're not going to our facility.
Right.
If you're gonna give it to them free, then, to go to our facility, then basically you've taken that deductible share that the employee pays away. Okay, but you gave them the option, they can go to whoever they want,
Mhm.
or they can come to us. Give it to them free, but you still have all the cost of what that nurse practitioner is gonna be. I would say you still run it through insurance,
But then we're just billing ourselves.
but you're letting them count that towards their.
And I'm not saying we're doing anything, so.
I know.
We're just having a discussion.
I know.
Yeah. But I mean, I agree with what Debbie's saying, even though that means I was wrong.
Oh, write this down.
Oh, wow. Wow, you
this
better
down.
record that.
Today at
So-
10:30.
Just trying to make it a job done.
10:30 a.m.
He must be buttering you up for something.
Uh-huh.
So by not turning that claim in, does that help us in future years because we don't have as many claims? Raising our
Could.
fees is maybe
But
something,
we're
one way to look at it.
We're self-insured.
Partially.
Partially. If the claim's over 75,000, anything less than that, we have the administrative costs.
Mhm.
I don't see the volume, maybe it has to do with the administrative cost, but it's gonna be very small.
Question for
compared to-
Randy maybe, or,
I mean, you can ask him.
I think most of the time people, it's flu, it's strep throat. Christy's daughter's, you know, she
Pneumonia.
had she had she had first, she had strep throat, then they went back and found out she had influenza B, now she's got pneumonia. So she's been there 3 times, I guess.
She
But-
wouldn't be coming to our nurse practitioner either, I don't think.
At first, she
At the
probably
beginning.
would, because, I mean,
Well, I think the
You're
first
just-
visit you probably would.
yeah, and if you charge,
After that, you would be going to your primary.
Yeah.
and finding out
Yeah.
what's wrong.
If
But
you
if-
can get into your primary.
True.
if you charge, say, $20, that's still 50% less than what you normally, it's $30, so we got to charge something. Because we do have to pay the nurse practitioner, and we have to pay the insurance.
I'm
and we
not
have
sure
to
about
pay-
And I
the
think
cost
that's what
or
she's
what we
asking.
charge. I think it's whether
Right.
we turn it into ourselves.
I think you need to, just because for bookkeeping, I mean, it's,
Well, I mean, I definitely think that if you're gonna open it up and possibly let city employees or something, you're going to bill their
Yeah.
insurance. You're going to,
Or do you have them help supplement the cost of the nurse practitioner?
yeah, you could do it either way. And you're still gonna open it to the public too, so there you're gonna have different pay schedule for the family that comes in.
Salary.
I mean, you're still gonna
Income.
probably be less than what it would be to go to a quick care.
well, I guess my
Be
question
considerably
is,
less than going to an urgent care.
I guess my question is are we gonna screw over the employee in some way by not submitting it to their insurance? So if there is an issue later on or something and they can't go back and say, hey, you went here and you did this, or you went there and did this, that history is not there, are we hurting them in the long run in some way, shape, or form?
I mean, we could take care of it within the price that we charge versus what another doctor's office may charge, we can make it less, but
So
it still
just
counts.
recording what was done so that, hey, just documentation so other
Oh,
doctors
yeah,
could
that
see.
be-
I
what-
mean,
we
yeah.
could get in trouble
Right,
that way.
so I mean, I
Well,
don't
you
know
have
the
to.
Yeah.
effects
You
of
have
if
to.
not, you don't turn it into insurance and follow it through the process the way it's supposed to, can you just decide not to do, I don't know.
Yeah.
But would it not be beneficial in the long run to say, hey, I went to a nurse practitioner and I got this medication or whatever, are you losing some of that history and,
Mhm. I mean, I think all these are good conversations to have, and I mean, obviously, I don't have all the answers. I just, just a couple things that I thought would be beneficial is that obviously priorities to county employees when they come in, that they get right in,
Sure.
not right in, but I mean, they move to the front of the line.
To help sell it to,
Right.
to get people.
Obviously, I would like to see it for county employees and their immediate family. So if you had a child or something, even though they're not on our health insurance, but you could still use that benefit, and if it was one of my kids, yeah, I'll
And
pay
you charge them the
$25
or
or
whatever,
whatever it
25.
is, cause I'd be paying that somewhere else as well, so.
I just think that maybe we aren't at the point where we want to add it into the budget at this point, but we need to sit down and have multiple conversations with the city, with the health department, with our,
Christie obviously
the
did.
guy the director guy that oversees it, and kind of figure out,
Okay.
Total
can
cost.
we make this process work, and what kind of cost is it gonna be in total? So the insurance, the medical director's fees, and all of that, and sit down and really say, is this, gonna benefit us enough to absorb that cost, or is it something that, I don't know? And then have we looked into partnering with a JCMG or a Capital Region or something, and maybe we provide the facility, but they provide the nurse practitioner? And, we don't have all the back end stuff, cause they have their own medical director and things like that, but we're providing the service at our facility.
Right.
And maybe in that, we negotiate, we get a discounted
Mhm.
rate.
And that
Yeah.
might be cheaper than doing our own service.
Right,
Say
so,
that
I
the-
mean, I think that there's multiple options to do here, I just don't know that we're ready to jump in and say,
The record keeping too is something, because now all medical is paperless, but you've got to have, there's a lot of record keeping.
When they're doing all that, with immunizations and everything else right now, so.
Do they
Yeah.
have more restrictions? I don't know.
Yeah, so I definitely think it's a good conversation, and I think we need to talk it through, but I don't know that we're ready to jump on and say, hey, let's do it.
So maybe we can have Christie back in here and let her kind of maybe run some of those traps and find out more information and.
Right, right.
You know, have some of these discussions with questions that we have and, how would it benefit us
And I think that her idea that if, you know, she has someone, the nursing director that's possibly talking about retirement, I think it would be the time to talk about this and to be like, hey, maybe this is the time to put this in place because cost-wise it will help us save a little bit. I definitely think it's, now we need to have a conversation. I'm just not sure that January 1st is the time to.
I don't think we could do it by January 1st, but I think this could save us money since we're partially self-insured.
So
I
maybe
think it can provide a good service for our employees.
maybe we shoot for when our nursing director is retiring, we want to try to have a plan in place to implement something like
Right.
this.
And we need to look at options and see if maybe getting one of the other hospitals or medical groups to do it.
Well, I mean, right
Is-
now, they
is,
seem to be popping up those express cares and things like that quite a bit. I mean, maybe if we can benefit from each other, we partner together, and we've been doing all the other partnerships.
Say, community health center, Cap Region provides doctors, they have dentists, they had like 9 dentists over there too.
That's a lot of business.
They do a lot,
They're smart about it.
they do a lot,
Right.
and again, there's
Contract.
you've got different schedules on what you can pay, on what you do pay.
Well, and I think staffing for them may be a lot easier, because it may not be the same person every day, but they have the staff available to staff it every day.
Mhm.
Yeah, because if
So
ours
that-
takes a week off or
Right,
sick, you know.
right, we're not gonna have the ability to backfill.
Yeah.
Well, we got a beautiful building out there, and I think a lot of people just have kind of a negative thought about who the health department is for, and it's for everybody. And so, you know, if we could get more people to use the health department, I mean, obviously, we can bill some of those people for that, but it may save them money. I mean, it's already a service we're providing, so, I think it's worth having those conversations, and maybe it's a mid-year goal to, or when this person retires, to try to do something there.
Right, right.
A survey of the employees to see who would actually use it.
Anything
Could we,
else?
could we do that through like Survey Monkey or something?
That's how we've done the wellness stuff, yeah. It's just
Maybe we could have Christie kind of come up with some questions that, you know, maybe with some dollar amounts or something, or,
Because you're gonna have to spell it all out. If you say free, they're in it, you know, but I don't think they're really know what they're saying if they, you know.
right. I mean, obviously, you said, you know, some people are gonna be private about who they're gonna go see and who they're not gonna go see, but, you know, when I got a sore throat and I think it's strep, I mean, it's not that big a deal.
No, it's-
And we have the teledoc now and all that too, so
Yeah, I get that. And of course, some
Okay.
people said that it didn't work that well.
it's
and-
working.
Is it?
And Melissa will say that she messed that up. She said it didn't work.
Okay.
Did it help you on your finger, Joe?
She just didn't want to wait.
What's
so She
that?
went to urgent
Tell-
care.
Tell Doc.
Yeah, I called them twice and they both said, go get an x-ray. It's like, I did not want you to tell me to do that. I just wanted you to give me some penicillin to help the infection or whatever.
That stuff that's around them.
Okay,
They said
anything
no.
else with the
Yeah.
health department before we move on?
But that's gonna be a good conversation too that day, because if we decide to do it,
Where was their revenues? Have they fallen off too, or
So.
a little
with
bit?
it,
Yep. Just
they did have a few things though, like the WIC special project for moving, like that 80-some thousand was a one-time to
Oh, okay.
do the building, so, you know, that
It was
that
in and out.
skews that a little bit.
Sure.
So, you know, we were 880 was a total revenue budgeted in 18, we're 805, so,
Right.
you know, 82 of that was that special
Right,
project and
okay.
one-time grant funding, so, you know. I think their revenue is about the same if you compare year to year and take that one out.
It's
Okay.
their expense, you know, so.
They're on their expense side, anything
It's
that
growing
jumped
pretty
out
good.
at,
Well, actually, if you look at total appropriation,
I was just looking at actual, I guess.
yeah, so their actual total expense has gone down. But that nurse practitioner not in there and stuff,
right,
so,
some of the grant money is not being spent.
right, so.
That insurance cost, was that for their building? Under
Yeah,
materials
building
and supplies?
Building vehicles and liability, whether I can find that out, potentially, I don't know.
The other thing we need to talk about with health department is we really need to decide what we're doing with the old building.
Yeah,
So, something to keep in mind if we wanna, cause that is costing us utilities and things still for having it out there and the upkeep of mowing and things like that, so. If we don't have some plans for what we're gonna do with it, we may wanna talk about getting rid of it.
okay, if we are to do something with, the mowing or something out there, would that need to go into this fund, or does
I
that get
think-
split out?
I think we
Through
would
Greg.
most likely put it in Greg Camp,
Okay.
and leave it there, cause he does the other maintenance on the facilities.
Okay, so all the buildings come under his fund?
Not all of the buildings, but all of the ones in general.
So the
So-
sheriff does his, road bridge does theirs, and then the rest of the buildings are.
Carnegie, he does Carnegie still, maintenance for
Yeah,
him.
oh, I
Yeah.
was saying the rest of
But
them are
like,
separate.
yeah, but like the sheriff's department has their own and they take care of their
That's right.
building. Road and Bridge has their own and they take care of their building costs.
And the rest
So
of the
Greg
buildings.
takes care of the general buildings.
Okay.
Circuit clerk. So I think her only concern was where the capital and how that works, because she had those recording machines that she needs to replace. She didn't really bring up anything else. We didn't talk about her part-time. That started out as kind of a special
2-year
project
project.
and, supposed to take 2 years. We're now
It's assumed to be,
ongoing.
Are you still scanning that stuff, or what?
first it was just the backlog till they got to caught up, and now they're doing it, but I guess it's just current stuff that they're doing, so I don't, that really never was the plan.
There's something Victory Group could look for us too, because we're scanning state documents, correct? So
Okay.
we're paying for these people to do that stuff.
Well, and at what point are we caught up and you have the staff to do it? I mean,
So all that part-time money is scanning those documents?
it's supposed to be.
It was, yeah.
It's
Okay.
supposed to be one person, and she had, a lag this year where someone left and she didn't replace them right away, so she had money left, so right now we have 2 people that are being paid out of that 11,000. So we didn't increase it, but she has 2 part-timers that are sharing that amount of money.
Yeah, and I don't care if it's, 6 people sharing it, it's a pot of money,
Well, yeah, but
so.
I still think at some point,
Well, let's have her back down here and talk about that. And
Yeah.
then what about the capital? You didn't put the capital,
her capital is listed in sales tax, so back on 111 or 116.
okay, so you put it in.
Yeah, those
in sales
recording
tax.
machines are in sales tax.
When we get there, I wanna try to approve certain things so that people can move forward on those when the budget's approved. And then anything that's not approved, maybe we put an asterisk by it or something so that
Sounds good.
people know what they can and can't go purchase.
It's easier.
So, 2 quick things just with their budget in general. So Judge Sodergren leaving, they have some office furniture in his office that he would like to purchase. I know Judge Walker is bringing his own furniture in, so they don't have a need for that furniture. So
That's his desk, right? He wants
his desk, credenza, and chair.
Okay.
So, we kinda have a policy right now where everything goes through surplus property. We have made exceptions in the past, if someone is retiring or something, we've let them buy their laptop or their computer or something. We've not ever had anyone
What furniture?
want furniture.
I don't have a problem with it,
So,
but how do we get a price, I guess, is,
that's my question, I do have a picture on my phone of what it is he
has
wants.
he made an offer? Or
He
is he
has-
wanting us to tell him how much and then
I
we'll
think
decide
he's looking for, what do you want for it?
what's it gonna cost us to put a different desk in there?
Well, if Cotton brings his own in.
Well, so right now, we wouldn't be replacing the furniture.
What would it cost us to replace it?
I don't know.
$3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah, and I'm not saying we have to charge it all, but
Very heavy.
chances are that desk is probably an antique too, so
Yeah.
I don't know what kind
It's
of,
old and-
It might be, but I mean.
when we bought it, it might not have
You know,
been.
you know what it's gonna cost to get it out of there and put it in surplus where we might get $25 out of it, right?
So we're gonna have to move it anyway,
You get more.
Right.
You get more for that kind of
so.
stuff than you do for like a metal desk or something. of course.
Sure, well, if you can get it out of there and dismantle it without, and then all the time that you got in doing that, carrying it up and downstairs or down the elevator, however it can.
Come out of pretty easy.
However you-
We're
Chainsaw.
not, we're not gonna help remove it.
No.
No, I don't think my lower
I think
back
it's
could take that.
Well, we can talk about that too. We can work on a price on it, try to find something that works for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, she can show you, I was thinking a couple $100, but, I mean,
But I'm just thinking what it would bring on surplus, because if we sell on surplus, the way I would sell it is, you buy it, you move it, it needs to be gone such a date.
we don't do it that way though.
So,
Oh, yeah, they have to come pick up their own.
I get it, but we don't say you're going into his office to get it and undoing it and taking it out. We move it out of his office, we move it into the basement of
I
the
don't know,
Carnegie
we've had some
building.
stuff we've moved
Yeah,
from.
we'll probably put that one out in the hallway.
The old refrigerator that was down in the old jail and stuff, there was some stuff that,
That's the furniture. Put your glasses on.
is that the biggest picture you have?
Yeah.
Well, there's the
I just guess-
credenza in the back too, so I mean,
Yeah, so it's the
Yeah,
desk,
that-
credenza, and the chair.
Tell them make us an
I'm
offer.
not impressed with, yeah.
I really don't know what that desk is worth.
Yeah.
If he's got an idea.
I mean, I don't think it's an antique by any means.
I don't think that credenza is.
And especially since Cotton is bringing his own in.
I was thinking 200 or 250,
Yeah, I think-
but that was just kind of my ballpark, but
Let me see, I can't remember.
$100 a piece for the
I'd
desk
take it,
and
but it
the
won't even
credenza
fit in
and
my office.
$50 for a chair, or the chair's probably not worth.
Wait, is he taking a chair? I could use a chair. My greenback is getting pretty ugly.
So,
Have the
I mean,
prosecutor get you a chair.
Think so.
what direction do you want?
Have him make us, yeah, I think.
Have him make us
Have
an
him make
offer?
us an offer, yeah.
Well,
Okay,
you said couple 300, you said couple 300.
Yeah,
I mean, there's,
so,
you've
Anyway.
seen the inventory of the surplus a lot more than we have, but have we historically sold them for? And if they're gonna move it, it's worth
I
having
was
it out
gonna
there.
say, anything you get over $50 is probably a windfall, because
that's a big desk,
lot of
right?
times it doesn't bring a lot.
Depends if 2 people want it.
Right.
I mean, I don't care if we shoot him a price and say here, and then,
okay.
so,
So,
300.
You're in charge of the inventory.
Because for 300, I'd maybe go get the dang thing.
300. I'll shoot it
Because
out
there's
there
a
and see what
desk,
he
a
thinks.
credenza, and a chair.
Yep.
I don't know what shape the chair's in, but
He's been using it for quite a while.
Yeah, it's not.
Well,
So-
he only uses that when he's in his office.
He's
Uses-
here a lot.
Yeah, he's here a lot.
He's here an awful lot.
So, in the process, a week or so ago, last week maybe, we had someone from the courts call and say they purchased iPads from their law library fund. and the employees went to purchase them because they are going to replace them.
It's a never-ending cycle here.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
getting ourselves into
Oh,
it.
yeah. Well, so the argument here is that the state purchased them out of the law library fund, not the county, even though we tagged them as county property.
I'm not sure if they
How
are.
does all that work?
It's,
Years ago, I
I
always
mean,
told them if
I
they
get
wanted
ti-
an
I get
insurance,
tired of-
it had to be on my list.
I get tired of other people purchasing stuff, and yet it's a county asset. That's just not right.
well, so we've taken the approach here that we're recording their law library fund in our financial statements. So to us, it's being purchased with revenue that we're recording.
So they're giving us the money, and then we're purchasing it.
No, they have complete control over the law library fund. I don't, all I see is a monthly bank statement.
So it's a separate fund that we have no control over
So
and
it-
can't control the spending.
It's no different than the slush funds of the other, I'm sorry, the discretionary funds. Here.
I do have a
I
feeling
mean,
you're not sorry.
Are we drawing interest on it?
Their stuff is very different because even their state money that they collect on cases, we report on our financials. It is an agency fund, so it is not our money, but it's like it's being passed through us. Is that the judge? Maybe
Judge
I should
Joyce.
ask her.
Judge Joyce, yeah.
She was
It
right
wasn't on
about
the
it.
agenda really, but I guess under budget, but. So is there? So then it becomes, we tagged it, so you're counting it as a county asset,
It is. It's
paid
tagged
for
as
by
county-
somebody else,
It's tagged as county property.
and so, I mean, if we went to surplus it, could we surplus it?
And what would it bring? Again, it's kind of the same thing if,
And how does it have to be wiped so that there's no
yeah.
information left on there? Who's gonna do that?
It's usually been Oscar's problem, not ours, if I remember right.
Their computers do get wiped by Oscar, not by Brian. So their computers, if it is a county computer that they decide to surplus, it has to go off to Oscar to get completely wiped, come back to us, and then go to surplus.
How many are we talking?
I think there's four or five, maybe six.
So will these iPads be done the same way? They'll go to Oscar, get wiped?
I don't know.
You know, if they need to.
Therein lies
They-
the
Well,
problem.
say they need to, if we're gonna do it.
If you're
then-
gonna send it
then
to
needs-
surplus, I would say yes, it needs to go
Yes,
through
it
some
needs-
sort of process to be.
Yeah,
If they get to take it home with them, I think they need to be wiped clean too. No matter what we do, if we either surplus them and sell them to somebody, or if we
Right.
sell them to whoever's using them. If they wanna save everything they have on there, back it up, they can come back and put it back on there. But I would say it has to be cleared.
Either way.
I'm not letting anything walk out of here without being cleared by Brian.
yeah.
Whether you buy your computer.
What we sell is clear.
So,
What we
I
sell
think it needs to
is
be the same process. no
so-
matter what.
If it goes to Oscar, does Brian check it and make sure that it's,
We can put that
We can ask
stipulation
him
on
to,
those,
yeah.
I guess, but I don't know if it happens any other time.
But they're replacing them basically. So one way or another, they're gonna be surplus.
Yes, their
So-
plan is to purchase new, so either way,
So,
but right now, I'm making an assumption, but they are the judges' iPads, and Donnell and Chris, I think, are the ones who have iPads. I think they want to personally purchase their iPad.
Then the next question is, what do we want, what do they buy?
Right.
That's why they call.
what's it
to
bring
give
on,
them a value.
what would it bring on state surplus?
We've never sold an iPad. Most of the time they're used until they're broke.
so,
We've had tablets or something. Aren't they kind of the same? Sorry, Chris.
Halfway.
Yeah, so like.
But that mean they're 5, 6, 7 years old. They're
And
on their
they're-
way
And
out.
we usually have them in groups of 8 in a box,
Yeah,
and you
there's-
get what you get.
There's
kind of
not
thing.
much value to them, I don't think.
I mean, I don't know, if you consider an iPad like an iPhone, I mean, even though you have an older model, it's still worth the
Well,
money.
and I'm pretty sure these tablets are 2016s or 17s. They're not old.
Why get rid of
So,
them?
so in that, I mean, obviously
Oh, okay.
iPads, iPhones, I mean, all those things can be refurbished anymore, right?
Well, or they could be traded in.
Right.
Well,
So
we
I'm
can
not
keep
sure
the
what
same
they
policy,
trade in
anytime we
on.
get one to get it erased, we'll put it on surplus, if they want it, they can buy it off surplus.
I mean, we ran into this a few years ago, and we kind of took the opinion that everything goes to surplus property if you wanna buy it.
Right.
We have made, like I said, a couple of exceptions for an elected official or someone that's retiring that's been here a long time. Hey, they wanna buy this when they leave. We've made that kind of exception in the past. But this one, we have gone through this before with the clerk's office and wanting to buy their computers, and we finally drew the line and said, everything goes to surplus property. If you want to purchase it, you can purchase it out of surplus property.
I'm fine with just keeping it like that.
Yeah, if that's our policy, then
I mean-
But shoot the judge a price on his.
You're not even funny.
Well, I'm just,
I get it. I think in that instance, we're gonna get more for the furniture from him than we would out of surplus from past experience. We don't know what past experience
I'm
is gonna
good.
be on
I've got a bunch
a
of-
2016 iPad or
I'm
whatever,
a
so.
sugar cookie
I mean,
guy.
I'm not an expert in that, don't know what that's gonna bring, so. And it just, I mean, exception here and there is one thing, but can't just keep making exceptions for everything else.
I'll come back and bite us in the butt.
okay, moving on.
So what do we decide?
Surplus,
Sure, yeah.
Everything?
except for the judge's stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
When
Court
Donnell
service-
retires, she can ask.
I don't want that.
Well, I mean, they can still buy them off surplus, so
Yes.
it's not
Court
like they can't get
services.
them.
Julie didn't come over, so I don't think she had any
Zero.
issues.
Sorry, I just kidding. That was more fun though. All right, keep going. Sorry.
Anything you see or want to change?
Oh goodness.
That's a better one. Many ones would be better.
Any big trials or anything coming up that want to affect any of this?
So yes, there are murder trials scheduled.
Debbie, hold that can of goodies up for me. I need a picture.
We have not,
Send it to Christie.
Okay. Yeah, close enough.
we have taken the opinion in the past that a lot of those trials go off before they happen. So we've kind of taken when they are scheduled and we know they are going, we will then move money in to cover those.
Okay.
We've also talked about the next time they have a murder trial, we're going to try to account for it in a separate line anyway. That we wanna keep that separate from their normal jury costs and not mingle it together, cause it kind of skews the cost of what we have to pay annually with a one-time trial that cost us $30,000 or $60,000.
And so will we set up a separate fund when this, if this Texas County trial comes?
Yes, my plan is like to sub-account the jury script line and add like murder trial or something.
Okay.
And as those happen, we'll put money in it to pay for them.
Okay.
But if that's not the way you wanna handle it, we can do it differently.
Is she not billing for the jury trials?
The revenue,
Yeah.
we've asked.
Hang on a second. What's that, break?
Can we take a break?
Yeah, everybody stand up and stretch.
My watch tells me
Ding.
it's time to stand.
Yeah. I need one.
Oh.
They said, have good back, you gotta get up every 45 minutes. If you got a bad back, you gotta get way further. Gotta get up every 10.
Oh. Oh.
Appreciate it, man.
They're special.
Okay. Just, yeah, find out, screw it down and tape it to it and I'll find it.
So you think you did jump on me?
I think he did, yes.
Well, everybody else is commenting that he did, so.
Well, I don't even understand why he's so upset about it.
I don't
Because he's
see,
getting
all I
paid.
said was they're special, they're always special.
But these people are getting, I mean, he's getting what
I
he
just wanted
wants.
clarification, because I knew they weren't understanding what they were saying, what he was saying.
I'm ready to go to the point where
Pay them,
you get the holiday, if you work the holiday, you get paid. Done.
pay them all the holidays, just pay them on all the holidays.
No. If your schedule work, and you can take the day off, you get the holiday.
Do what now? If there's schedule.
Like, you pay them if they work, but you don't pay them if they're not scheduled to be here. You get the day.
I don't care.
I mean, I don't know how to fix. I don't know how to fix it.
I would think that this would only be for people that are close to the 96. They still got a whole nother year to use it up. He didn't like that, so. He wanted everybody to get the 8 hours. So I don't know.
And, I'm sorry, I'm not going into budgeting for 8 hours per person.
I'm not doing it. I mean,
There are things in there for a whole year.
those are big departments, the fluctuation within those for
Right.
the year.
Right.
Will be impossible and time consuming and worthless to.
Right.
Well, I don't, you're gonna have to go down and calculate their per hour amount, and then take it times 8 hours, and add it to each step. It's not worth the.
I should have said, I never did say until after that. I said, well, then quit calling me on the weekends. And quit sending me emails and texts about who read who got. But I didn't say it. I don't think of it.
If Christy's listening, you know, she tells us to wash our hands all the time, so I wash them and they're chapped. So besides the fruit, we need to have, bring some hand lotion to keep our hand, cause I really, Linda's coming down with a cold or something, so I'm being
You
really,
don't like going.
I think I said it.
No. No.
And that was Jeff, oh, fruit.
No problem. You gotta drink more during the winter time anyway, you become dehydrated.
No, but when
There,
you don't
it
take
just
that
looks
job,
better
you
that
know
way.
what you're taking on.
Well, that's
And
good.
in a position like that,
Right.
that's part of the commitment you have.
Right.
What are they suing for? Not gonna get anything out of it. The only thing they could sue for is the person who owned it. And we never signed a contract,
Why $10,000?
He just
probably
stopped
the
in.
number they came up with
He just stopped
as
in.
their fee.
I think
Why
I'll wait
is
till we
our
bring,
getting-
well, see, last week they were too green, so I was waiting for them to ripen, but that one might be a little bit too ripe. Hmm. Don't know.
So, do we still have the other drone out to bid?
I mean,
Or has it been purchased too?
I have no idea.
That other drone, is it actually just out to bid right now?
It's purchased.
So the second one's purchased?
It's not here yet, but it's purchased.
I didn't even know the first one got purchased, or I thought we were talking about it.
Just FYI.
Then I thought the sheriff didn't want it, but that was actually
That was license
the
plate
license
reader.
readers.
Plate readers.
Yeah.
So I was mistaken
No,
there.
the only way we knew about the first one was the day they were standing out in the parking lot testing.
So when he buys it, he just goes writes a check out of that
Put
discretionary
it on the
fund.
credit card. Credit card, yeah.
So
Delinquent tax fund.
their process in the system, they do enter them into the system, but their process does not go through any approvals other than Mark.
Well, that statute doesn't even say we have to approve
Right.
squat diddly, so.
Right, so they can get paid without anyone else really looking at them.
Okay. That's what I was curious how we, I didn't know anything about it.
It's
That's what I was trying to
county
remember.
asset, and we're liable if something happens.
So we are tagging it, I mean, we're tagging it as a county asset,
Right.
but we're not picking it up usually until after the purchase.
Why are we even tagging it? If you gave it to JCPD,
It's on our
I never got
insurance.
anything that said it was given to JCPD. All we got was that they purchased a drone. Now, where they house the drone,
They said it was down at JCPD, but when we asked to see it, they said, yeah, we'll have them bring it up here.
right,
so they flew it up here.
Well, it doesn't really matter, I mean, January
Well,
first, it's locks ground, so.
Not really. If he gave it to JCPD, it was gifted to
No, it's still
JCPD.
listed
I
as
think it was
ours,
gift.
cause it's on our insurance. That's what Rick Knott's the one that pointed out to me.
Hey, you can put my car on your insurance. It's still my car.
it was on.
Well, but it.
Why are we
it-
insuring it? If
It needs to be accounted for come December 31st, right?
We've told them that all of their property that can be in the office should be in the office on the 31st.
it's not ours anymore. It was already gifted.
If we get a letter, so we'll
Yeah,
take it off of
right.
everything.
I have not been notified that we
Okay.
gave.
I don't
away
disagree with
or-
that.
Yeah, we need a letter.
So if it was gifted to him, then BA needs to just say, I gave it to JCPD. It's
That's
theirs.
Right.
In writing, yep.
And we ask them every year, do you still
You
have
don't-
the drone? Yes, it's down
You
at
don't get to
JCPD.
get divorced and get the ring back.
It's the legal thing.
So Mark is no longer gonna be up there. We don't get to go take our ring back from JCPD. So if they wanted it and he gave it to them, we can say a whole lot about it, so.
I have not been notified that we gave it to them. I have been notified that it is being housed there.
Okay, well, that's where I was mistaken, cause I just understood that we gave it to them.
Let's keep moving. Okay,
Okay.
so court services, anything else? No. Court security, 67. Does Donnie
Page
have?
two.
Yeah, no. Did Donnie have? No. Did Donnie have anything? He
He
kind of
didn't come.
alluded to pretrial could have some changes, but you guys are still working on a report.
Yeah, so how did we go from 4,000 of a budget or in revenue and 18 to
So 17 was the.
13,000 and
17
19?
was the first year we started collecting, like charging people for the Lake Shekel,
Okay,
and it's kind of grown since
Okay.
then.
okay,
But the estimate is 13,000.
okay.
So that's the revenue side. And then
Right.
the expense side has grown
Oh my gosh.
substantially too. I mean, we're at 31. And that's no salaries, that's just the lake shackling, their phone, their office supplies.
I don't have a problem with that, cause it's saving us a ton from having to house them that we're probably not gonna get
Saving
reimbursed
law
for anyway,
enforcement.
So now what, so you're saying our expenses are 31, and what are those expenses?
The expenses is us paying for the lake shackle,
Okay,
us paying for the phones for the supervision people,
okay,
and their office supplies or things that they need to operate.
okay. And then what part of salaries is Richard Lee and other people that working for pretrial?
We can look at that again.
Okay.
Part-time, part of it, part-time is 24,960. According to that.
Can we get a breakdown of that? I mean, maybe we can go back to this, so I'd just like to see that separately.
Sure.
So about
90,000
is just salary.
salaries, would that be
90
benefits
is
too?
the salary, not benefits,
Yeah,
so.
not benefits.
Okay.
Plus
so
the
we-
part-time.
No, then
No,
the
there's just
additional,
the 2 full-time.
so then the part-time that's in here is also theirs.
All of it? So you got,
Well, no.
25,000.
25,000. No, so it's 11 too.
That was for these
Yeah,
two.
that-
those for top two. So 35. 35.
and does
of
that
the
count
44.
our portion of benefits on them too?
No, their benefits are combined in here. It would only be social security and then $25 for
$52
the,
a year.
Social Security, Medicare, so it'd be 7.5%.
yeah, 7.65.
So what was that, 35?
35, yeah.
Mhm.
And then 90 in full-time salaries,
Yep,
plus benefits on the 90,
yep,
and 7.65 on the part-time.
yes.
Can we get a number on?
I do,
Sure.
I didn't bring it with me.
That's fine, I don't need it today.
Yeah, I have it
I
upstairs,
just-
because
I-
I
Program
just did it
off.
with Richard this week, so I have it, I just didn't bring
Is
it
there-
along.
At some point, do we think we're gonna kind of separate those, or?
I wanna say total is 149 with benefits.
Okay. Total
Separate.
expense, including the 31?
No,
Okay,
149 is just salaries and benefits.
okay, and then the 31 would be on top of that?
Yes.
So we'd be at 180. Right? No, when you said 149 and 31, it'd be 180.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, I could probably find it because I sent it to Richard last week.
Did you get a new phone? Wait, this one card.
Yes, 149, 396.21 is salaries and benefits for full and part-time.
Okay,
So then you need to take the 31 added to that.
Can you phone me?
so did we ever, think that we're gonna separate those out of court security? I mean, just to be able to track that, or,
We haven't really talked about it yet. There are some other expenses right now that we're not, including, so like some of the drug testing, we're getting through drug court.
okay,
So there are additional expenses that we're not capturing at the moment.
okay. So,
But right now, it's fairly clear here, I mean, if they get bigger or we start adding revenues or things to it, I mean, I think maybe we should talk about it possibly being its own, but right now, there's not a lot that the marshals have that's really co-equals. so.
Okay. All right.
Child support. Kinda is what it is. I mean, Holly kinda told you where she's at, and she's getting
Right.
close to the amount that the state gives her, but right now we're still within it.
Said something about computers.
Her computer, I mean, she's talking about using the money she had left this year, and then she has 4,000 in there for next year.
Okay, so she's got money
She's
for
got
the
it,
computers, she was just letting us know.
Yeah, I think just letting you know that she was gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Your notes are better than mine.
So we did juvenile earlier.
Yeah, the thing is, we got everybody's buying computers, everybody's buying tires. It's like, can't we get a better deal if we don't, everybody's buying copiers.
I need tires.
You need tires?
Yeah, I need
Oh,
33s.
We'll add it to Public Works
Stop
or
it.
EMS.
No. Next
Well,
is,
well, for our emergency management.
Sam, I
that's-
can't let you do that.
Emergency
That
management.
would be dishonest.
next is coroner. His professional service amount hasn't changed since I've been here. I don't know if that's something y'all wanna talk about. Otherwise, it's just autopsies and is gone.
I thought we raised that at some point.
We did.
Talked, we did?
I mean, but
It's been a long time ago. I think it's prior to me.
no, I don't think so. He came in here, or,
Yeah.
it could have been longer ago than I think.
I thought we
What's
increased
his-
it at
what's
some
his
point.
last name?
They're off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't requested it, so I say leave it alone.
It's not gonna tell you there because we moved it. It's only gonna go back to 15.
Just don't give me the detail.
So 37, but the 37 you were breaking it up and doing quarterly, weren't you?
Twice a year. 15, 14.
So 13 was,
74 still.
11.
Been a
Don't go
while.
back
Yeah, that's still the same in
you
10
know,
there.
it's only gonna show you what,
Past, not past 2000.
we'll go back further in the system. It should go to 5.
Gosh, it has been longer than I think. Well, it was 30, 36.
It was 8 whenever it went
34.
up.
Well, so it was 6,
Well,
68.
I thought we had talked about it
68
before, maybe we
was
did.
I got the file.
I've talked.
We talked about it last year, I think, but we never.
It's been longer.
Well, maybe that's what I'm thinking of
I
then.
talked to Carl at County Territory. He complains a little bit, but I think probably he should come before us with a request.
But it's been since 2008, it looks like.
10 years.
How many does he have to do? Do we have a number on that per year?
So it varies from year to year, but this year so far,
So that's doing the autopsies or just declaring them dead?
No.
Medical examiner, is that different?
he does not do the autopsies, we contract them out.
Those ones we send to Columbia and
But he does have to go like claim the,
So if there's
Yeah,
something
pronounce.
happens, he goes and in the middle of the night, gets called in, and probably after Sam had some cocktails with him, and then he's gotta get an Uber to drive him there, so they're in
So-
trouble.
If we ever have to get another one.
4,
it
5,
costs
6,
us-
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, 21. So far this year. And it's only if it's a suspicious, this is just the suspicious death ones that he has to do an autopsy on. That's not if he's going out just saying yes to this person.
Oh, that's on autopsies, was 21.
Yeah, that's just the ones he has, suspicious deaths that he has to do an autopsy on.
And any kid under 1 years old,
1 years?
1 years.
At the Walmarts.
How
1
many,
years.
how many deaths does he have to go out on every year? Do we have
I
any
don't know,
idea?
I don't have that
So
number.
that's what I'm curious too, does he have to go declare them?
I
Yeah,
mean, I think
Yeah,
car
I'm seeing.
accidents and things, I mean, he has to go,
That can add up pretty quick. I personally, he's not made a request to increase it, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, I think if he wants some more, if I see him again, he's, you can always send us a letter or something like that. But it's kind of like the pauper funerals, you know, the funeral homes now are saying it's not enough, and it isn't enough, but you
well,
gotta-
I just brought it up because it had, like I said, it hasn't changed
Yeah.
in a long time,
Yeah,
so.
move on. Did we ever get a PA?
No, I have not received anything. I sent him yesterday the Excel spreadsheet that we have to kind of, he wanted to do a comparison and asked me to send him mine, I did that, so I have not received anything else yet. Wanna skip him first?
Sure.
I mean, most of it was salary stuff, I mean, I
Right.
don't think he had anything else. Page 80 is just the transfer from, we'll pull that one up, because that does have the IT person in it. 165. Go to the notes. So this is the transfer to the law enforcement fund annually. The difference this year is that 30,000 in IT salary is coming out of there before we do the transfer.
Where we at? Sorry.
165, page 80.
That's basically the admin costs for the law enforcement, or well, what we promised, I guess.
So the revenue as
This
it
is a
was.
2,040,000 less our admin fee?
Admin and computer services, and then now an IT salary supplement.
Okay. So it's coming out of this instead of going into his and coming back.
Right.
Does this have that 50,000 for pretrial in it, or?
No, so he wanted the pretrial in his budget so you could see it, so it's an actual line where he has to pay it back.
Okay.
Emergency management. Bill obviously had some changes that he wanted to make. He
But-
gave you a list.
Yeah.
Increase $60 in the
I
equipment
mean,
service.
basically, I was a no on all these.
Okay. He did come
Well,
up with the.
I'm just one here, so, I mean,
Well, I'm just saying, he also had that 5,500 for painting, which was not originally in his capital, so it is not listed later on.
He did say though that the radios, was that it? No, the battery replacements did not need to be on there anymore.
Yeah, so the 4,000 in siren battery replacement that's on the sales tax list right now on page 111 can come on.
But that reverse 911 is quote to 22,000.
Yes,
so he'll have the reverse 911 and then the painting
yes,
and the capital.
yes, and the reverse 911's 22, not 16. Is it, no, is it?
That's, I asked him twice this morning, 22 and then 10,000 every year after that.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I wrote no on all these,
Might
but
ask him again.
the only one that may require more discussion, or we can discuss all of them, but the past year maintenance repair of the outdoor warning system increase.
Might wanna
Do
put that
one.
in.
Oh, the last one before you got to the painting.
So click on that emergency fund. So he has been putting in there,
I mean, is there a
Go
maintenance
down,
agreement there,
emergency.
or are we paying for damage as it happens? I mean, we got insurance on those,
go
or,
the activity.
I've had a lot of them struck by lightning.
well, stick up in the
I
airways.
know. But I mean, we really, it's,
he
Sure,
does-
that probably
I
happens a
can't
lot.
stand them things. I won't even talk want to talk about them.
Come on, Jeff.
The bad thing is that a lot of people like them, so I'm like,
He does have somebody that comes like annually and just kind of checks them over.
Okay.
And he does pay for that.
ding dong, tornado.
But that emergency account has been in the past more of just
Separated too.
God, I missed it.
There's that outdoor.
So bring some firecrackers in here. Everybody going.
Oh, we did 4 pounds of tannerite the other day.
Did you?
At about 110 yards, that shook the deck.
That's a lot.
I know. I was
4
like sitting there going, man, do we need to put that at about 200? Says on there, at least 100. I was like, 110's more than 100. We'll be all right. I think Kathy was worried about our
Aren't,
windows.
isn't this probably like a half a pound? I mean,
They come in like a Gatorade bottle.
Oh, do they?
That's about a pound. So 4 pounds is like that.
Oh,
Oh, you're-
It is, and you can watch on the video. Just you can see the shockwave coming towards you.
Oh, really?
It shook the deck, man. Didn't break any windows though. I'd have been probably living at my own house if that happened.
There was a lot of repair work to a lot of those sirens all over the county. And we did check into insurance, but what the premium was not going to cover. And the ones that were Warsville and Taos and different people that owned it, they were supposed to pay their part of this bill. So the part that we paid was just our part. And so there wasn't really any sense of setting that through insurance.
okay.
but that's kind of,
Whether it should have been paid there or not, I don't know.
well, that's why we left the 2,000 in the emergency line, was for things like that unexpected costs of that maintenance or upkeep of those. I'm not really sure what else, if anything else, that he pays out of that emergency line.
Okay, so there's no maintenance agreement for somebody to come, it's just for repairs?
There is an annual maintenance, and it's in, I think, his equipment service
Yeah.
contract.
Okay,
But this year, they actually found things they needed to repair.
okay. And then batteries and stuff that we've replaced in the past, is that,
It's come out of capital.
Okay.
If we're doing like a mass,
right?
yeah.
Didn't we try to
replacement.
do half one year and half another
He
year?
was trying to, yes.
Yeah, and he said that he's replaced them all now,
Yes,
so we
we
have a
should be.
break in.
Okay, before we start replacing half again?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so I'd say 2,000 would be,
So we're talking about 53855 right now.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I think if he wants it to be 4,000, that would bring us into maintenance that we've had for last year, give us an idea, and that's what you had up there, correct?
No, that was just like a repair job for.
Oh,
stuff that we-
okay. But if
the
I mean, if he
maintenance.
Go back
foresees
to-
the
go back
repair
to
of the outdoor
17,
warning
they had it
system,
there,
then if
so.
we know we're planning on probably having replaced 3 batteries or
Something going on with
do
one.
this to it
It's only 300.
and justify the 2,000.
Generator repair.
Either that or do we wait until it blows up
So
and then we have to come
really,
back
that
and.
emergency line, if you go back to 17, he's just using it for like, the things that come up that need to be done. I think he had a gas meter that needed to be repaired, that 677. He obviously had something with the outdoor warning siren that needed to be repaired, 340. So it varies from year to year as to what it is or what.
so
A generator.
Cummins
repair.
Mid-South generator repair, that doesn't even have anything to do with the warning sirens, that's just a,
Well, I don't think the emergency
Okay.
line's just like emergency equipment and if there's repairs or things
Right.
that need to be done to it. I don't think it's designated to,
I mean, if there's big stuff that comes up, we can pay it out of capital or we can transfer money in, but I mean, to just put a lot of fluff in your budget just for what if, it really isn't the right way to budget.
well, and his budget has over the years gotten tighter because we pay a lot more of the share. We used to get a lot more grants and things like
So
that.
I'm saying we're
and-
getting less, so
Yeah.
now what was nice, we got it for free, we're paying for, so
Right.
what goes around comes around. So it's just like giving Christmas Eve off, you know, you think that's a good thing, nice thing, easy? No.
But at least we can have some laughter.
Yeah, well, he hasn't even put the
We're
still
$98,000
jolly.
in yet for the emergency management vehicle yet.
No.
Yeah.
So-
I'm gonna go down to Cape Girardeau, I'm gonna call our presiding commissioner.
Okay, Parks
So-
and Recreation, or you still got some?
Did you say no to all of them too then?
Yeah.
Alright, so you got 2 no's?
Yeah,
Alright,
yeah,
move on.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just gonna nitpick each one of them and go through them, so. Parks and Rec.
They didn't really have anything, but we probably should talk about that reimbursement of personnel service and whether or not we want to contract out some of the grass mowing or leave it.
Well, this is for the 3 parks,
Yes,
right?
yes.
3.
Brooks,
Brooks.
County Park, and
and,
Thanen.
Thanen, yep.
On Brooks Road, not to be confused.
Yes.
Well, but then well, in the past too, they've also done RINs,
Just gonna say, we got rid of a couple things.
but, I mean, I don't know where they kept track of that stuff. I mean, I think somebody was mowing all that stuff, so I think it was probably all being tagged to parks, but there's a roundabout at Bighorn that it gets mowed, that I'm sure while they're mowing the parks, they mow it. There's some other little properties that they mow that we own that,
Didn't we get rid of most of those though? We got rid of the ones in Osage City.
that's just the only one.
Friends.
There's one,
There was another one that was like by Bighorn or by another utility. Did we,
I thought we signed it over
to somebody else?
oh, the property
That adjoined.
joining, yeah, to those owners, but we still own the,
I assume that,
we still have one at, Frog Hollow and Rock Ridge, property there. And then we have a property at Brookside.
by the park?
No, Brookside, it's, there's some land there that's kind of behind that, I think there's actually 2 parcels there on both sides of Brookside. Not Brookside, it's Brookview Circle. It's over off of Rainbow and between like Rainbow and Business 50, there's some land in there, so.
A lot, or I mean,
That's
some we
where
could
Brooks
sell.
Park is.
Yeah, but it's, so Brooks Park is there on Arden, so that's up. So you go down to, get down into Business 50 and then you kinda, what's that road that goes there by the, think of the name of it. Anyway, turns right there before you get to Pioneer Trail and it goes up and,
Gateway?
Gateway, yeah. And it goes through and it comes into Brookview Circle. Am I calling that right?
Yeah, I
Brookview
got it at
Circle.
Brookview Circle.
Yeah.
It's about 2.6 acres.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a lot of land.
What do we have?
Yeah, I think there's a lot on one side of the road or just some right of way or something that we have to maintain. And then there's kind of we've looked at actually putting a detention basin on this property. It's kind of a low line area. It backs up to Pioneer Trail. There's
Well, we need to talk to Larry Miller about that, I guess, because I still have the old Loman Road too. 5 acres of them, is that right? Is that where you were talking about that circle, that land behind the turnaround? That we supposedly gave away?
5203 Old Loman Road.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where that's actually at, but it was,
I thought it had to do with that roundabout we put in there.
well, there's a
Turnaround.
roundabout there, but that's not 5 acres. I mean, there was a little bit of right of way that we had on some corners there, but I thought we gave that to the landowners.
I need to check.
And some that, was on Gary Bim Bim's
That gas
lot there, the
station
gas
there.
station, yeah.
That's what I
He was
thought.
mowing some of that too.
Oh, we got rid of that.
Well, I thought we did too, but Debbie still got it on her
Which doesn't
insurance.
mean that I got followed through with it.
The attached to the gas station or across the street?
I thought it was across the street behind that one house, but I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure we got rid of that.
Okay, I'll check.
So it's, I mean, the 18's in there, that's what we have been paying to Road and Bridge for them mow.
Right, and so there's a whole lot more to the mowing than, I'd like to think it was just mowing. But they do check the parks 2 or 3
Bathrooms.
times a week, bathrooms,
Right.
trash, different things. I don't know how much that actually takes, but some of those parks, I'm sure that there's probably more trash on a Monday than,
Well, and we have
Fair enough.
added in the park improvement line in the last couple of years, that's kind of, if their guys go out and do something at the park, so like they need to work on the bathroom, or they need to fix a bench, or
right?
that kind of stuff, then that's kind of what we assume that park improvement money is for, is if they're going out and fixing, or, you know, cutting down a tree that's fallen down, or any of that kind of stuff.
Just some money to be able to do some things out there.
Plus, we bought some of the sales.
Right, plus we have some in sales tax, but we spend,
And that grant flows through there.
right, we spend most of our sales tax money on our portion of that grant, I think.
And pretty sure we had a line item on our sales tax brochure
Right.
for the 100,000.
Right, but I think we used the bulk of it up front to do our match to the grant. So there probably is still money left in there, but a portion of that we had to match the grant money
Sure.
to redo Brooks Park.
What did we pay Sam Gaines to mow the park a couple times?
I wanna say 700.
Was it 7?
Oh, I got the wrong one here. It's not the construction, is there another one?
Yeah.
Is it called something
And it
different?
may be under gains instead of
Guess I gotta get out here.
Well, I was thinking it was 700 or something too, but yeah.
There it is.
Yep, $700.
Twice now.
What were the dates on that?
Oh, it's just September.
Sorry.
So that's 11/2.
Oh, that was the check.
Oh, you go back to the invoices.
You can see it?
Just says
Well,
cut one
yeah.
time.
But go back,
October.
there was 2 of them.
That was October. Why does that do that?
Right there.
So there, you paid one and
What was the invoice date?
And
Stop,
then-
go back.
Well, I'll give you the invoice. It doesn't say
Oh.
the month on that one, but,
that was for September, cause it's dated 9/30 up at the top, the invoice date.
so September and October.
Was that a month of mowing?
No, that
That
was
was just one
once.
time.
But what I was looking at was
No.
when he mowed it in September, and so that was a month apart, so,
What's behind it?
obviously different years,
Second
but.
page.
I didn't know when you did it.
So I mean, typically you're gonna mow 28 to 32 times a year, and so, you know, that amount alone, just mowing is over $18,000, so,
That's just one part.
yeah. But if it hadn't been mowed a long time before they mowed it in September, and then they left it.
22/4 is 32 times.
Right. But if he did it a month apart and it was a month prior before he mowed the first time, I mean, you're not gonna get anywhere close to that. I mean, if you're mowing it once a month or once every 2 weeks, you're at 14 times. Maybe less than that. But in the growing season, you're not gonna be able to let it go that long. I mean, or you're gonna have to brush hog it.
Or cut it twice. So
Right.
knock it down and then come back and actually cut it.
I mean, there's a big difference there, but I mean, if you did it 14, that's only 10,000. But I'd say you probably almost have to do it 20, at least 20 times.
$14,000? So our 18 isn't that far off. I mean, if
Not
they're
really.
doing other little things like emptying the trash or
Mhm.
checking the bathroom,
Mhm.
Right.
that kind of stuff. So do you wanna leave it the way it is and have them continue to do it, or do you wanna look into other options?
I'd leave it alone, and then if we decide to do it different, then we just pay them instead of,
Okay.
or pay our other option instead of paying them. I mean, if we could get it done for 14, I think it's worth looking at.
Right.
And it frees up those guys to do other
You're just gonna have
stuff.
to go through the bid process, cause you're probably gonna be
That's fine.
90 days, you're gonna,
Mm-hmm. Well, but then the question becomes is, how much time are you going and you checking on trash and bathrooms and
So if
toilet paper and so,
But they got people driving through there most all the time anyway.
that's
so
what I
they
would
can-
think too.
So for 4,000 and you got 14,000 still in there for grass cutting, the way I look at it is the 14,000 for the grass cutting frees our guys up to actually do road and bridge stuff.
You would hope.
Now, that's a different story.
How was it?
All right, well, the auditor is gone, now we can go back to her budget.
Oh, dang, she's right
Well,
back.
that was quick. All right, where were we? So we're leaving it alone,
Yeah.
but let's,
Yeah.
I mean, we got a bunch of different things, and I mean, it's even some of these, like the nurse practitioner or some that we can put, if we can find room, we can put it in the budget. Hammer out all the details later on.
well, so I'm hoping that after today, we will hopefully, before we meet again next week, have some updated revenue numbers that we can adjust those some and know exactly where
Are we done?
taxes are coming out.
Are we done with what you wanted to get done today?
Nope.
How many, what other ones did you wanna get done? I forget what you said general revenue.
I'd like to get through, at least Public Works
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get
and
going.
assessment.
Okay, I'll try to stay focused.
All right. Well, what did Larry have?
Sit
I
try.
didn't really see a whole lot of.
I only had a couple written down, so the bill, no, so I guess the revenue is kind of what your opinion is on whether or not we should include those revenue items or not. My opinion is in not knowing what they are and their small amounts to not include them, in the budget. They still get receipted in those lines and they still get tracked from year to year, but I'm not counting on them in my revenue number that I'm using because right now they've built none of it. And I would guess that they're not gonna get them paid back before the end of the year. So the revenue this year is going to be almost nothing.
Yeah, it just seems to me like the revenue should be higher for those items that, I mean, I gotta think that we're doing more and we're maybe just not recouping the cost, so.
Well, I'm a
Which
little
lines?
concerned that we're not billing it in a timely manner either. So, you know, I would think especially with like salt usage and stuff, you would be making sure that you're billing in April when you're done with the first part of the year, and then you're billing again maybe in
Oh, to
December.
the cities?
Yeah, and like, what was, signs, I mean, it looks like they're billing it, but we're only at like $389 for the year. I don't know that that's worth putting a
Right.
placeholder in the budget. What was the third one?
Fuel, but not really varies based on price.
I think they just brought that one up. What was, there was one more.
I mean, I think for me, it was just
That was the
kind of the mowing and the salt materials, I think.
Road material.
And some signage, so,
The mowing was the other one, yeah.
I mean, that stuff should be billed maybe when it's done. So I'll talk to Larry and Larry about it.
So are you good with leaving them out this year and maybe trying to get a better handle on billing them more timely so we can see what they are, or?
Well, because we're not, we didn't even see a whole lot of revenues from the previous year, so I
Right.
mean, there's no history there, so,
Right.
yeah.
So the one we know for sure that needs to get added back in is that building supply one that I told you was.
Right, that 4,500.
Yep. And then I know for sure the 200 in the electric needs to be added back in. It needs to go from 1,400 to 1,600.
Okay.
Those were the two that I wrote down that
Okay.
have to go back in. Did you guys have any others that they brought up that you want to talk about? I mean, the part-time is what it is. If they have a bad winter, it's gonna be what it is, but they haven't used more than 40,000 in over 5 years.
And they haven't ever really used a whole lot of part-time for, snow plowing.
Right. It's mainly summer,
Right.
it's pretty consistent, but snow plowing's just kind of,
So I think, they had indicated to me that they would probably have one gentleman retire, and they might not fill that position, so we may be looking to do more part-time, snow removal type stuff in the future, but those should offset, so I'm not concerned about that.
and then they had equipment service contract, but I'm pretty confident with what I put in there that it's gonna cover their costs.
Okay?
Professional services, they were fine, organizations. Uniforms, they said they were fine.
Did they need more money for organizations, or?
Well, I'm not really sure. We have a remaining balance of $576, so I'm assuming they're okay. But,
Okay.
They said if they did,
yeah.
I didn't mark anything about it.
So, I mean, uniforms, they said they were fine. Electric, I agreed with them. And fuel was just kind of be aware if fuel
Right.
prices go crazy.
It's
we'll
gonna
have to-
affect a lot of departments.
Right. So, anything else?
So what kind of hats are they getting for $50?
I have no
Is that
idea.
like one?
I did not know that they were getting that.
I mean, I don't know. When I buy a box of hats, it's like a couple $100. Must be going the wrong place.
If they're just
Says
plain
at the
hats,
top
they,
now
Might be
it's
stocking
hats. They
caps.
didn't before.
See John the other night at Wheeler
Yeah.
with his stocking cap on. He said it was colder than out there at Collier Court.
Oh, he's a little soft though.
Yeah, but all his deputies all had the stocking.
If you're listening, Wheeler, you're soft.
His deputies all had the stocking caps on too.
No, I don't have any other issues on Public Works.
Their budget is one that we have a deficit built in every year.
Yep.
I did make them cut things out of the budget to
Right.
include the salary adjustments that are in there. So, you will see a deficit no matter what, but we did make them cut out enough to cover the salary adjustment. So when we look at salary later, keep that in mind.
Where are you showing the deficit at on that?
Carry
You have to
forward.
take the cash forward and the contingency out, so the deficit's gonna be the difference between.
Okay, I know we've looked at that in the past, and
Yeah,
it's
so
always,
if Debbie just zeroed those two out. I can't see, sorry.
so contingency's right
They
at
want Jeff Fox.
2 million, cash forward's 2.5.
Yep, yep, and I told them that's where I didn't wanna go above, we were right at 500, did you add those two things in? Yes, so they were right at a $500,000 deficit,
Okay.
exactly. So the two items that we we talked about that needed to be added back in.
Yeah,
dated
4,700 back in, yep, okay.
And that's always, she does very good at estimating the carry forward, but it could fluctuate.
Right.
Yes.
And that's typically where we've been, maybe a little higher with Public Works in the past. a
Right,
little over.
we've tried the last 2 years to really cut them back to that 500, I think last year they were 524.
Right.
You know, we've tried to start cutting them back to closer to where we're supposed to be, because their budget is probably the one that has the most swing to it. So they budget a $500,000 deficit, we're projecting this year they're gonna be at $174,000 surplus.
Right.
So you're at least $674,000 wrong in your budgeting.
Right.
So,
But
But
theirs
they
is,
watch it.
Well,
They
and theirs
do.
is kind of, they could have a good year and a bad year,
Right.
depending on, very much on the weather.
right.
Right.
'Cause they-
And I think that's why their contingency being higher than most is a good thing, because a bad year for them is not just like a couple $1,000s, a bad year for them is a couple
Several.
100,000.
Right.
Yes.
So,
And overtime
Fuel,
they
salt,
Right.
chemicals,
Right.
Overtime.
repairs.
Salary.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Nope, I'm good.
assessor. So, now
Albie?
Bean made some significant proposals, but I think that we need to have more discussion about exactly what those numbers need to be.
Okay.
She had the 3,000 in training that I think is definitely gonna be
Did she bring a sheet or,
decent. She did not.
No,
so you got notes on all that?
Somewhat, yes.
I just made notes.
I do.
3,000 in training?
Yeah, so we talked about putting that training though in the programming line instead of the meetings, travels and dues, because really it's gonna be DevNet coming in, and
Okay.
that's where we're paying DevNet's contract from.
Okay,
So in the programming costs instead of meetings, travels and dues. And the other one really is just part-time.
okay,
And whether that is a contracted part-time with DevNet to help with the conversion, or that's part-time people, if that's multiple people for a short amount of time to get data entry done, and then maybe a couple of part-time people ongoing that help out in the office. I
Okay.
mean, we really need to decide what that picture looks like, because right now it's kind of, could be lots of things.
right. So would that all go into their budget then?
Yes.
Okay.
And right now, their budget, Debbie, if you wanna, their budget is balanced, so the cash forward equals the contingency. So the 3,000 alone is throwing them into a deficit.
Right,
And right now, in their professional services, I only have encumbered in there the remaining amount of their Ameren one for Lewis, Reed, and Allen, and then an estimated amount that they do annually with Nunn Company and Newman Conley Room. So
Okay.
there is no George Sansosi, there is no additional agreement with Lewis, Reed, and Allen.
for
No.
next year?
Right.
It's just what's ever still open.
So right now, it's just the open amount of their contract this year.
Okay, that could change a lot then.
Yeah, it could change a lot, so depending on where we think that's gonna go,
So, I'd like to see the 3,000 in there for,
so she did add that one in.
okay. And then I'd like to, I think we need to add some part-time or,
Debbie, there's not a line right now, so I'm gonna have to add that line to their budget.
I'd like to add some part-time. I'd also like to add some costs for contracted services.
Up and above, the contracted services for the computer situation.
Yes.
The
yeah,
DevNet.
Yeah. So I'd say.
So I guess my question there is, do you want that contracted services to go into professional services? Or do you want that to go into programming so that it's set aside for their software?
Or is it gonna be easier to take back out of once we're done doing it? Because once we put it in there, if we don't need it in 2020,
Well,
when we
so-
do that budget at the end of next
So my
year.
concern at the moment is the things like the George Sansosi issue.
Oh.
If you put it into professional services, that gives them the ability, if it's not got a PO attached to it,
Mhm.
to go in and pay those bills and slip them through and not be attached to a contract. I don't wanna approach that. So I would much rather put it into their programming line and put DevNet contract services or something and assign it more to where it's tied to their programming for their computer and not just a general professional service.
Yeah, I think it needs to be tied directly to, that's what you had it being used for, was
Right,
DevNet.
yeah.
Saying Susie
Right.
or Ameren, however you wanna tag it.
So.
That way
it's
we
kind-
can, it goes through here.
Right.
It's kind of what number are you thinking or?
Oh,
I'm
a million
thinking
ought to cover it.
20,000 probably on that.
Oh, I'm cheap.
That's just a placeholder and it may not cost that.
No, it might cost more.
Yeah, good.
Well, while we're at this,
Yeah.
so go back in there.
Part-time.
Right now, I only have Clear Basin in there for 9 months of next year. If that is not a realistic estimate.
That is realistic. I mean, our go live is looking about August, September, so that could be possible. But a lot of things are gonna have to come into play to get that done.
Okay, cause if you're thinking that's not a good estimate, we probably should up that amount and be closer to 30,000 or more.
I think that's a good estimate.
Okay.
I hope you're right. I'm a little more pessimistic on that.
What do you think of
I
I
the
mean,
part-time?
it,
I just
yeah,
think
what's,
it's,
what's your estimate as far as part-time beyond that 20,000 contract?
I'd rather put plenty in there right now to, cause we have control over that, right?
Well, not over part-time.
It depends, you guys do have more access to that fund because, I mean, you could say yes or no. And I will listen to that, yes or no. If you don't approve a bill, you don't get paid because
Right.
this fund belongs to you guys, even though it's a
Right.
department head, or elected official that runs it. We already went to court to figure that out, so.
I mean, what is a typical part-time person, you know, $11, $12 an hour for a decent part-time?
So I did have that conversation with Albie, and we were kind of thinking that, like, if you're just having a data entry person or something like that, we were thinking closer to 12. If you're wanting someone with a little more knowledge, like if you need somebody that can come in and kind of sketch a little and things like that, we're looking closer to 15 or so, you
Okay.
know. If someone with that experience and history, you're gonna have to pay a little more to get them to come in
Right.
to do it.
I mean, obviously, like to fast track that, so I think it's gonna take more than one person. I mean, I'm thinking 2 or 3 people and,
How many total hours are you thinking?
well, yeah, I was just looking at the
So-
max.
So, we kind of sat down and the conversation they threw out at me was 6 months, but it would be like 6 months at 40 hours a week for multiple people. But then,
Multiple people?
yeah, 3, I think, is what she was talking about. But then hopefully, once they meet that 6-month point, they're not needed after that. But,
So that's 1,000 hours, but what's the,
Let's stay under that.
is that,
well, that's what I said. I
where
said,
does
what's
the
going on?
benefits come into play if somebody's working 40 hours a week, though?
Well, it makes them eligible for SURF after 1,000. It's 31, we'd like to keep under 30 hours a week
Right.
for to stay out of the health.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking 3 people, 1,000
So
hours.
if you contract it out though to be 6 months and it averages out over the year to be less than 30, can you do that, or are you, because you're
You
doing
should
it at-
average it by the months they work,
So,
you know, but it's hard to do that on some
well,
people coming and going.
how do you do seasonal out at Road and Bridge, same over the year? So I
Because
mean,
you have
can-
another argument there. You have an argument that they're seasonal. So, you know what I mean?
Right.
So they're
Yeah.
not counted anyway that way. Because seasonal are not counted, you know, but
Right.
when I average them for the whole time, they're not counted anyway. Because there's no way, good way to divide the months, or weeks, I should say.
I don't know, I was thinking we're looking at
How much?
$50,000. Yeah,
Yeah, you said three or so.
yeah, I mean,
The 50 was not including that 20.
Right.
So would it be more like 30? plus this 20?
I don't know what the
What that
20 is.
contract, what
Yeah.
is that? Because if they're doing the same job.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that index people doing it? Which we kind of thought that would make it better to go, because then it's on them if there are any mistakes.
So, yeah.
So do we
it-
need to stand in recess?
Well, if we can stop by, if we could look at his salaries real quick, or you got to go, or,
We're talking about salaries. I gotta go.
okay,
I had till noon.
okay,
So-
you're good.
But salaries, and when we talk about salaries, we wanna do all the salaries.
Right, well, he just wanted to kind of go through his,
Got your
changes.
the spreadsheet?
Mhm.
Yeah, I've got one here, I can email it to you guys.
Maybe you could hit the highlights real quick before Jeff has to go, or I can
Shoot
fill
me
you in
on.
later.
We'll be here Tuesday, right? Did we put budget
Did
on
you
Tuesday?
add it to Tuesday?
Yeah, we did, I think.
We didn't add closed, are we ever gonna talk about stuff I should add to closed? If you're talking other salaries at the same time.
Mox next.
I'll just go ahead and do it, and if we don't need it, we don't need it, how's that?
You making a bunch of wholesale changes, Locke, or you adding, or?
Basically what
reducing?
I've done is, I've eliminated, right now, the way it's, written up, we've got 3, APA 1 positions. I've eliminated an APA, full-time APA 1 positions. I've eliminated one of those to bring in a part-time APA 2 or 3, that I can pay out of my own fund that sometimes is used to buy drones. That way, I can make the salary increases I think I need. Right now, it looks like there are $345,496.90 allocated to assistant prosecutor salaries. If I do it this way, I'm leaving a few of them pretty much the same. I saw where you guys increased salaries for the APA ones into the low 50s, which I think will go a really long way toward getting some of those good young law school hires attracted to coming here.
So that has not been approved yet,
Okay.
but it was in the proposal.
It's in the proposal,
Yes.
right? So, but what I have done on the upper end is increased based on eliminating that one full-time position and reallocating some of that money into the other assistant positions. One other thing I've got on here, Cole County does not currently take full advantage of the VAWA grant when it comes to prosecutors. And that's a discussion I had with a potential hire who's currently an assistant in Platte County. She does all their domestic violence stuff. And basically, when you have a prosecutor that you apply for the grant, if you have a prosecutor that tracks their time and commits 75% of their time to domestic violence cases, the federal government will reimburse 75% of that assistant's salary.
So we're not getting any of that right now?
We are not. And I don't,
Something to apply for?
that'll be a grant we can write. I actually talked to her about that some more as well. She would be more than willing to be the one who comes in and writes the grant. I don't know if we'll make it in time for this year, but for
Is
the
that
next
something you can
upcoming.
get reimbursed for after you spend it? So if we apply for the grant, it would go back and be
I don't know. I don't think
retroactive
it'd
to
be-
January
I don't
1?
think it'd be retroactive, but, and I'm not sure exactly what the deadline is on it now.
So
But,
saying we for sure get it, or is that pretty much a given then?
I would imagine, I don't know, I'll have, she knows more about it than I do, and I'm gonna be sitting
Okay,
down
that's
with her
fine.
this weekend, to talk to her some more about that. But, at any rate, when I made the adjustments I made, to the salaries, eliminating that full-time position, going to a part-time position, it looks like we actually saved about $23,000. That's not including the potential grant reimbursement. So it could be as much as somewhere in the 60s.
So right now, those salaries include the ones that are being paid or funded from the MOU at the moment, so.
Oh, they do?
Yes, so
Okay.
currently the MOU pays for one full-time person
That's another thing I was going to mention, is that I will not be, I plan to eliminate the part-time investigator position. I know that Paul leaves December 21st, I believe, and I don't plan to fill that position. So,
Okay.
Will you?
Probably need to see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
will
you
you
just
send that?
send that spreadsheet. and
sure, yeah.
I can forward it to everybody.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
And print it out or whatever.
Well, and I will try to take it upstairs and plug in all the benefits and everything and compare totals.
Okay.
And adjust the MOU to just be a prosecutor, not an investigator as well, and kind of show where we end up
Right.
with his proposal.
So you're saying that there is currently one full-time prosecutor that's paid entirely out of that fund?
Yes.
Okay.
The position wasn't filled all year long, but yes,
Okay.
probably 9 or 10 months.
Really? Who ended
They
up taking-
just didn't fill it after he left.
The last one was Derek Spencer,
Oh, Derek was out of that fund?
Yep.
Okay.
We just took the lowest,
the last hire. I
the
think.
last hire, yeah.
Okay. That changes things a little bit for me here. I didn't realize that one of them was actually getting paid out of that. So we might not be saving as much as I thought, but, with that grant potential, I think that
That's
in the
good.
long term, really help us out.
That'd be great.
So how many other grants do we not know about? We can keep Matt busy for a while.
Yeah.
Just the stuff we've come up with this budget cycle.
You know, that's a good question. I mean,
I'm sure there's more grants out there, it's just the
Yeah.
time that it takes to apply for them and the chances of you actually
And the-
getting them
And the
We're-
solution to it's only a short-term thing.
$120,000 for somebody to look for that stuff for us, so.
That's
if
true,
we
but
got
are they
some
actually going to sit down and write them for
Yep.
us? Yes?
I have grant
The
writers
most
on staff.
important thing is, a lot of them are only funded for 3 years and then they expect you
Right.
to continue it.
Right.
And that's what this county got into trouble with. We continue it without the funds.
Right.
So it becomes,
Well, that's with a lot of this stuff. I mean, we got these outdoor warning sirens and now we're having to take care of them too. There's things that come up with them. But I just pick on them anyway because I don't like them. I think they're a waste.
Does anyone happen to know the Wi-Fi?
Cole
CC
County.
Annex,
Yes. Key.
and then CC Annex key is the password.
G or guess key?
Oh, no.
CC Annex is the name,
And-
and then the key is CC Annex key,
Oh, okay.
KEY.
All caps?
No,
I don't think
It's
it
all
matters.
lowercase.
it's all lowercase.
Okay.
Jason.
Okay. So you're out here, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I
I gotta
get
go
a
pretty quick
part-time,
here too. I got some place.
Hmm?
Can I get a part-time and assessor and then we'll be done? Are you thinking 35,000
Oh, I was thinking more than that.
with that contract service even in there?
That's just gonna be to type this stuff in.
I was closer to 50.
That's
but-
where I was at, it's 50.
Danielle, we tried.
I'm not arguing we're gonna have to do it. I'm just frustrated because I thought DevNet said we'll transition. They'll just roll over, they'll talk to each other, it's
So-
done. And now we're finding out it's gonna cost us another 35 grand and 50.
Right.
So we're at 73,000 that we're adding to their budget, and that's no additional Ameren stuff. So they're gonna
Yeah.
put 73,000 in the hole, and then if we add Ameren ongoing, just realize
Oh, no.
that's an additional amount as well.
Right, but we need to talk to the other people
Yeah, we-
involved and they need to start helping.
Okay.
We can't keep footing the bill.
Pencil up, you can pencil that in, we can finish talking about it.
Okay.
You want that to
So-
happen before the end of the year, that conference call?
Ameren part.
Ideally, yeah.
I'll try.
I mean, if they're wanting to get paid.
I can't believe they're not
That's
knocking her
something
door
that
down.
They're not wanting to
Yeah.
get paid. They're not even
I
calling
just
that.
assumed they were.
So after that, we're down to, we need to get through law enforcement, we need to get through EMS, we need to get through sales tax. And then we'll talk about salaries as well, so.
So we're back on for Tuesday after the agenda
bit, but, she has some changes to the salaries that she wants to propose as well.
Okay.
I don't know. Can you change the salary of a person that's already here?
Other than an adjustment, or what are you talking about?
Does
Like,
it higher or lower?
Could you reduce a current person's salary?
You have to have documentation that their work changed, and I would pass that through Jill. Their position actually changed.
Well, so, yeah, she needs to come back in and talk, cause she's talking about the possibility of
She needs to talk.
no changes to salaries at all. So like even the COLA that we want to give, possibly not doing that. So I don't know when you want her to come back in.
So time frame, probably, we got this back on Tuesday, so we
Hopefully
can,
we can knock through
the
law
rest
enforcement
of it
and
out
stuff
Tuesday.
Tuesday, and then maybe hit, for sure changes, we for sure want to do Wednesday, and then salaries Thursday.
okay,
Yeah,
so we can, so maybe we can wrap up on Tuesday and kind of let everybody, give everybody a heads up where we got some questions, or maybe we need people to come back
Right,
on
so
Wednesday.
Wednesday would be like the day to,
Okay,
I need answers, so we can make sure we know for sure, yes or no.
okay. And then we do salaries and stuff on Thursday. Okay, I'm good with that. And then should be pretty much done at that point,
Other than carry forwards, yeah, I mean, there will be some adjustments
unless we have.
slightly to things
Right.
depending on where we are with last budget run and actual revenue. So we won't have actual cash forward balances until first of the year.
But that's just that's something we can't change.
Right,
So.
right.
But
So-
it will affect, obviously.
It will affect the bottom line a little.
Right, but if we have other issues, we can come back in the next week and talk about them.
What's your date to the paper?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, a date. I did have a paper. Calendar.
But that's just letting them know that
Of the
That it's
Public hearing.
available,
Right.
Yes.
the budget's available now.
Technically.
Well, yeah, but at some point you have to publish like a viewing. Here's what we're anticipating that we're going to approve or whatever.
So many days before the actual budget here, or, yeah. Notice to the paper, I was going December 28th, but obviously I have to get it to him before December 28th. So I'd like to get it to him
So,
before we go to Christmas.
so how, what do you just send them a notice and they put it in a paper and then it's available on our website?
I asked them to come in here or email, you know, just a blanket notice so they know to call if they're interested in wanting a copy. So I really have not published it on the website, you know, usually I'll send them a hard copy of it up here or
We've
email.
been putting it up on the website though.
Well,
That's-
our
that's-
proposed is, but their changes are not, because we don't do it again until we're finally approved.
Right.
But I
So
mean,
really, it's a report we run out of the system of, here's where we're at.
Got anybody ever asked?
Not in a long time,
Right, but I mean,
not since the.
I could say that we just, here's our proposed budget, here's our ad that we have to run by law, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So
Did
the,
you-
I run the ad.
Yeah, the ad just has to say that it's available, and then they have to
Yeah,
contact the commission
yeah.
if they want to see
Yeah.
it.
And it basically is, here's when the budget will be approved,
Right.
the hearing.
But I mean, I was just thinking we just put it on the website if they want it, they can look at it, right?
We're gonna have to figure out a report that
Scan
runs the
copy
way,
of it.
yeah, runs the way we want it, but
Okay,
yeah.
if that, I mean, if it doesn't work, it's not a problem.
Because it will change. And that's why I kind of like to hand it to them and say, no, this will change. This is not the
Okay.
final because of the carry forwards
That's
Yeah.
fine.
and stuff, the grants and everything.
I got your email, by the way. block.
You got it?
Yep.
Awesome. And we'll say that one of those salaries I put in is contingent on who I can get, otherwise I'd be willing to drop it.
Hmm.
I think I suggested 66 on it. Back.
I gotta get that. Why we go, or I'll get another.
I mean, it would only be if we're talking about someone in particular, right?
I mean, we may not use it, so.
Right.
Can I ask just briefly what, did Mark mention the drone the other day, or did?
So your column N then is your proposed adjustments.
Yeah, so those are what I would propose, that's the one that would potentially have the grant attached to it, so
Yeah.
that would be the
I'll
savings
go
from
grab
the
it.
grant.
Thank you.
That's the top assistant, like I
Right,
said, I think
okay.
that's probably realistically what we're looking at to
Okay.
get somebody of that
Okay.
quality, but,
And then have you talked to any of the other staff here, I mean,
I am-
about staying or?
As far as I know, everyone plans to stay.
Okay.
So, I'm actually supposed to sit down with Brenda and Paulette today. Yeah, so, I don't see anyone planning to leave. The only support staff or the only non-attorneys I know who have left are, I know Paul Schlup is leaving. And again, I don't plan
They
to
haven't
take
voted
that
yet.
position, so I guess that part-time APA three really is
I think just
essentially.
voting to go out of session.
Hey,
Here,
I'm
remember,
gonna
it's
move we
anyway.
recess to 4:30.
Okay, so move, or second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Stay. That's